Welcome, and in today's episode, you're going to hear 5 reasons why you should stop drinking alcohol before summer is over. I want you to know that I do think it's more important to focus on what you should actually start doing as opposed to what you're stopping. And really, summer is a fantastic time to think about starting something new. If you're a drinker, you're probably putting all this time obtaining booze, crafting these cocktails, maybe even filling up those specialty spherical ice trays. You might have even developed some sort of oral fixation, teething on that tiny red bar straw or that perfectly round glass bottle top, suckling on it every day on some level, possibly thinking back to your first bottle being held in your mother's arms. Point is, all this has become a big part of your life, your drinking days, and you should pick some new things to replace your comforting routines. Late summer is a great time to see people still. Okay, the weather's great. You don't have to fight through 17 inches of snow to have a social life. You want to try some new physical activity, walking, biking, running, shooting basketball, playing badminton, whatever. You're still able to do that. And a lot of times people think about their resolutions in January, which is probably the hardest time to do anything, let alone the healthy habits you probably want to replace some of your drinking with. Even the live music, the events, the parades, the movies in the park, the calendar is filled with options. Whether you view drinking to be a positive or negative thing in your life, gave you something to do, filled up time. Maybe your daily battle with the bottle was a preferable fight to something that was a little bit more intimidating or something you didn't quite want to deal with. Keep moving forward and give yourself a new challenge, a competitor that's a little bit bigger than the can. Thinking about fall, it's always been a time where you're able to craft a new identity for yourself. Everyone grows up going to school, starting the school year in the autumn, having this pattern as you get older, reflecting on who you were last year, who you want to be this year. Maybe you show up, new backpack, fresh pair of jeans, possibly a new personality, right? Oh, I don't listen to Limp Bizkit anymore. I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Big difference. Trying to change your personality every year might seem comical once you're a bit older, but you got to give yourself credit for trying. Props for changing and ultimately inching yourself closer to where you probably should be. It's just normal to see people after summer breaks and these extended vacations and to have an opportunity to sort of reintroduce yourself, even at work when you're older. People get all blissed out on a beach somewhere and show up, someone's tan, someone's got the little fake vacation braid in their hair. Everyone has to get reacclimated with themselves. And it's the best opportunity you're going to have, New Year's included, to put that best foot forward and be a new person. A New Year's resolution in January is really the culmination of your thinking from October, November, and December leading up to that new calendar year. You don't just wake up early in the morning. You have to go to bed the right time the night before, and your brain is a lot like this. You're not just going to have the epiphany of who you should be come January 1st. You probably won't even attempt a resolution at that point. You should have some sort of excitement, some sort of path leading into the new year, which is why better start earlier rather than later. Maybe you're dating, leading into cuffing season, and you need to be prepared to attract the kind of person you want to spend your time with. If you're still acting like a sloppy summer yard gnome in September, you might end up sharing your bed with some drunken troll come December. Reason number 3 to stop drinking alcohol now: save money for winter. Christmas gifts, extremely expensive. And if you start budgeting 2 weeks before Christmas when you start shopping for the gifts, you're going to be in trouble. It's one of those things based on the pay period you have to do ahead of time. Hanukkah gifts even, that's 8 different nights right there. And saving money on bar tabs alone can exclusively pay for this sort of activity. Doesn't even have to be something so generous if you don't want to give all your money away. Maybe you just want to spend the dough on yourself, which is fine. Think of whether you'd want a trip to Florida, maybe in January, February, how much that's going to cost. Bar tabs, maybe $30 per outing, maybe 3 times a week. Ends up being $320 a month, which September through December, it's $1,280. Certainly enough money to get you a plane ticket to Florida and a couple days in an Airbnb. And yes, of course, some of those Coca-Colas to enjoy on the beach. Other winter expenses come up too. Inflated heating bills, maybe wanting to buy an Uber to get around in the snowy season, possibly pay for a gym membership, give you something to do. There's also all these intangible costs related to drinking. Maybe you spend a little bit extra money on coffee to kind of get you through the hangover. Obviously, it could be cannabis, could be aspirin, maybe even medical bills eventually long-term down the road. Don't even want to get into the auto body bills and attorney's fees for drunk drivers. Reason number 4 to stop drinking: makes you gain a little bit of weight, especially during the winter. Now, there's so many good foods that are going to be offered to you that you can partake in. You don't have to just take things away from your life, drink less, not consume more. Consume more of your favorite aunt's cheesecake. It just gives you a little bit more runway on enjoying some of those festive foods that will inevitably come along. They use that phrase, a moment on the lips, forever on the hips. You're taking a shot, that's way less than a moment. It takes a second. Second taking the shot means you'll never be hot. I'm sure I could workshop that one a bit, but you get it. It's quick. How many people gain so much weight leading into winter that they don't fit into last year's sweaters, lending them to even spend more money? They have to go shopping, right? Which used to be fun. You would go out with friends, try things on. Your buds would tell you that you're slaying that new large gauge knit sweater, and you would almost be happy that you didn't fit into last year's fit. Shopping now, though, you're scrolling online, alone, trying to figure out what size sweater you even are, without any help from the model photos who seem to be in the top 95% of height and the bottom 5% of weight. All the meanwhile wondering if you should just leave that item in your cart, try to get yourself a better deal come Black Friday. 5th and final reason to stop now is that you got to plant your tulips early and ahead of time. For those of you not familiar with how to actually plant tulips, you just take these bulbs, you put them in the ground in fall, you water them one time, and then they come out months later in the spring. A lot of you probably like tulips, wonderful spring flower. The fall and winter period allow you to upgrade your life for this spring and summer period. Life moves in cycles, growth and death, put things in a simple dichotomy. If you're sober, you have more time to learn new skills. You actually are going to recollect what you did that was good and will be able to bring things forward with you. Why should next year be any better if you don't make a real effort to improve this year? A clear head might even make it easier to remember holiday memories, justifying the cost of the travel and maybe making it easier to keep your spirits up in the cruel, harsh winter. I could go through other reasons why it would be a good idea to stop drinking. I mean, you lose your brain cells, it turns you into a consumer capitalist pig, dries up your skin, slows your jokes down, gives you cancer, tastes terrible, smells bad, and of course creates a huge amount of recycling that forces you to go to the dumpster at least twice as often and makes that thunderous bottle and can clatter that embarrasses you in front of all your neighbors. Hey, do you need a hand with that bag? No thanks, I'm good. Keep your distance. I have a messy problem. It doesn't have to be so hard. No better time to start than the present. Thanks for joining for the 79th episode of the Neverending Becoming. Going to have Rob on the podcast next. See you then.